show you my toys.
Hey everybody, this is D Hunter bringing you another action figure review. Today we're going to be looking at the Walmart exclusive McFarlane Toys Stranger Things Upside Down Will. This figure is part of, I guess what you would call Series 3 of Stranger Things figures. The first series had 2 figures and then 2 more figures, and this one has 3 figures plus a GameStop exclusive Barbara and a Walmart exclusive, which is Upside Down Will. This figure is pretty much exactly the same as regular Will, except he is upside down and sickly looking. He's an exclusive, and upside down the packaging just kind of give you something a little bit different, which is kind of cool. So let's check out the packaging. We've got 12 plus, upside down exclusive, Netflix, Stranger Things, same logo as always on the front. The figure's actually upside down in the package, so it's kind of odd. I'm sure some people might walk by not knowing what they're looking at and thinking, oh, look at this mistake. He comes with the exact same accessories as the other one. We've got the walkie-talkie, the backpack, and the extra hand to hold the walkie-talkie. On the back side, we've got a picture of the other figures from this wave. We've got regular Will, Mike, and then we've got 11, sort of punk, looking with her mask for Halloween. Let's go ahead and open the Skype and check them out. Okay guys, well here's the figure out of the package. I pretty much collect Stranger Things figures because they are civilians for my Batman world. A bunch of children, and of course we've got the police officer figure, which is great for army building purposes. This figure here is sort of a sickly looking, zombie looking version of Will. I like being able to have kids that can be kidnapped and etc., etc. in my Batman world. So this one here, I thought maybe he'd be a great poison ivy infecting him, he's turning green, something along those lines, or a decaying corpse, who knows. That's the whole purpose of me buying the Stranger Things figures. Here he is out of the package in his entirety with all of his accessories. He does come with a backpack right here, just like the regular Will. He also comes with an alternate hand with a peg in order to hold his very large walkie-talkie. Of course, he also comes with a walkie-talkie. I predominantly end up giving these to my GCBD police force as extra walkie-talkies for them. Then he has the Stranger Things stand, which I don't care about at all. It's going to end up in my big box of stands, never to be seen again. So I found out that my figure has an action feature. He has a removable leg. Okay, that's not an actual action feature, but it broke when I was testing the articulation before shooting this, and it's very frustrating. I am going to go ahead and glue him and see if I can keep the articulation remaining. It's quite possible, I think. If not, the Walmart I bought this from did have another one. I'm sure they would let me exchange it. Just make sure you're careful. Very brittle, very small area here was connected inside of here. Let's see what I can do with this guy. Alright, well I ended up gluing his leg completely, shoving a ton of glue in there to make sure it never breaks off again. I was hoping to save some of the articulation, but I realized it was not going to work. I still do have the option of bringing him back and exchanging him, but honestly I'm probably just going to keep him as is. Frustrates the heck out of me, but it is what it is. I'm only going to use him as either a sick or poison ivy taking over or dead body. So he's going to sit on my shelf with other figures kind of like that for a rainy day for some cool action figure photography. But it still does burn me a bit. Anyway, this figure was purchased at Walmart. I've been checking the website regularly for this guy and it has not been on there yet. He costs $17.50, something like that, at the store. And there were 2 of them on the shelf when I went there. Alright, a quick glance at his accessories. Stand, just like every other Stranger Things stand they've made before. Who cares? Then we've got an alternate hand intended to hold his walkie-talkie. It's got a really big peg hole in there. A lot of the figures have had the same type of thing. Take his hand. Pop it off. Comes off very easily. I must say that's one nice thing about this particular figure. That is one not so nice thing. Take new hand. Get it in there. Doesn't seem like the new one really clicks in the way you'd like it to. Then we've got a walkie-talkie. I must say it's exactly the same as the other Will's walkie-talkie. Here it is. I pulled it out. I believe all the figures came with identical walkie-talkies. Same peg hole in the same place, etc., etc. Bam, slap it into his hand. Of course, it comes out. I felt like it didn't really snap in there right, and the other people that have bought this have complained about the same issue. But anyway, puts it in his hand, holds it, looks very big. I assume it's screen accurate. I don't really remember what they look like off the top of my head. Like I said, this hand is going to go into my fodder pile. This walkie-talkie is going to go to the police. This guy is going to be used as a dead kid or whatever in my Batman world. Then we've got his backpack. It is truly identical to the backpack with the regular Will, so absolutely no difference to the accessories there. One thing I did not mention was that I became aware this was a Walmart exclusive from some various website that reported this, and I checked several different Walmarts. It's in the electronics section with the adult collectibles figures. And the first Walmart had absolutely no Stranger Things figures. The second Walmart, same deal. Then I did find a Walmart that had some, but it was just the Hopper and 11. And then finally I went into this Walmart. They were fully stocked to the brim with the Series 3 figures as well as this exclusive figure. Not available at their website either. So now let's check out the height of this figure. These figures are of the 7-inch scale, but honestly I've always sort of felt like the kids are a little bit too tall compared to some of my other action figures. Still happy to have them. So this guy here looks like he's going to measure about 5.5 inches. Just seems pretty tall for what's supposed to be a kid in the 7-inch scale. Next on the agenda, let's check out his articulation. It's pretty standard articulation for a Stranger Things figure. The McFarlane toys are traditionally known for making good-looking figures, but poorly articulated figures, statuesque, as I've heard them described many times. But the articulation has, I like this standard McFarlane articulation they've done on several other lines. It's very similar kind of to the Diamond. Lets you do a lot of things, especially compared to what I used to do. So his head goes all the way around, of course. Doesn't really look up much at all. Looks down just a tiny little bit. Then his shoulders go out this far, back in. The joints sort of click as you move them into each various slot, kind of Reveltech-y. Then his elbows that far in. They can also go around. No bicep, nothing going on there. Then a wrist, it goes, of course, all the way around. And it can go up and down in one area. If you want to change that, you'd have to push it down, kind of push it around. It can go in any pose you want it to. It just requires a little bit of work. Next, we've got a waist swivel, but it's really doesn't do much. It goes this far again, not much at all. I guess the jacket's interfering. Then we've got his hips. Can completely do the splits. Go up that far, back, not too much, and around, no problem. Knees, of course, that one is completely glued shut at this point. They do go around like so. They also bend in, and you can kind of hear them clicking to place, like I said. This one here, I gently tried to move it, and bam, it just snapped. Very frustrating. Then his feet. Of course, they go around a little bit, and they do rock a little bit as well. It makes it very easy to stand this guy up, even with the glued knee on his right side. And of course, you can't do a review on the upside-down Will figure without comparing him to the regular Will figure, who just came out very recently. They're honestly completely identical, except for, of course, the fact that this guy's skin is green. He's also got splatter all over his pants and a little bit sort of accentuated on his vest, just a little bit shiny areas that are kind of like slimed or whatnot. Here he is with the rest of Series 3. We've got the 11 sort of punk outfit, as I believe she's been called. She came with a nice Halloween mask, which is really creepy. Then we've got regular Will, Mike, upside down Will, which is a Walmart exclusive. And then we've got Barbara, which is a GameStop exclusive. Biggest wave they've made so far. The other waves were only 2 figures each. Here he is with the core group of friends from the show. Here he is compared to the Will in the Ghostbusters outfit, which I believe was also a 4-pack GameStop exclusive. I noticed that the Ghostbusters one is a little bit taller than the regular version. And here are all the Stranger Things figures I have in its entirety, the entire collection. We've got Mike in Ghostbuster outfit, Mike regular. We've got Dustin in Ghostbuster outfit, Dustin regular. We've got 4 different police officers. Here's Hopper. Here's 2 custom head swaps on there. And here's one repainted blue. Some old country cops, good for my Batman universe. Then we've got Will Ghostbuster, Will regular, Will upside down, sick, Lucas Ghostbuster, Lucas regular, 11 punk, regular 11, and then there's Barbara. I must say the quality control on these guys is kind of mixed. This regular 11 has like the worst leg articulation you can possibly imagine. It was so hard to stand all these guys up. Of course, don't forget the 2 Demogorgons in the background, very useful for many different action figure scenarios. Now here is upside down Will compared to all the different action figures that I have of children in the 6 and 7 inch scale. I do enjoy having children to be in various kidnap or bad situations for civilians, for Batman to save. We've got Harry Potter, Bruce Wayne from Gotham, his clone that I customize, Oscar from Ghostbusters, girl that came with, I believe, a Spawn figure, the Stranger Things guys, girl from Hunger Games, some Christmas Story figures, 11 more Stranger Things, couple girl from the show Heroes, a custom Damian Wayne made with a Hector Hammond body, couple Newts, Michael Myers as a kid, we've got Carl Grimes from Walking Dead, and then Selena from Gotham in the back there. If there are any other children action figures that I'm missing, please make sure you post them below. And here they are next to some other action figures that I thought looked kind of like adult versions of their kid selves. We've got Mike compared to, I don't know what his name is, some guy from the Heroes TV show, similar clothing, hair parted similar-ish. We've got Will with guy from Mallrats. We've got Lucas with sort of a mixture of Frost from Alien's head and a different body. We've got Dustin here with a big guy from Lost. Let's not kid ourselves, Dustin's a little chunky. This guy's wearing the same colors, has the curly hair, and also really big. Got 11 and Ripley, of course, kind of because of the bald head. Ha ha ha. Then you have Barbara with Janine from Ghostbusters. Why? Just because. Now, as I mentioned before, I believe he is a little bit on the larger side of things. I know he's a 7-inch scale, but he doesn't quite fit in as a kid in my 6 or 7-inch action figure world. He's a little bit too big. Don't get me wrong, I'm very glad to have him, and I do use him as a kid in my world, but scale-wise, he's a little bit larger than he should be, in my personal opinion. Let's check out some comparisons with other figure lines to see how he stacks up. Here he is compared to some Marvel Legends Hasbro figures, suited guys that are kind of civilian-ish. Here he is next to some Mafex import figures. Here he is next to a couple of different various Mattel suited bodies. Here he is next to a couple of different Mattel wrestling suited guys. Here he is next to some various Diamond collectibles figures. We've got Ghostbusters, Pulp Fiction, and Gotham. They do scale pretty nicely with this guy. And here he is compared to some NECA figures of regular people. And then here he is next to some of his brothers, fellow McFarlane, different lines. These two here on the left are both a 7-inch scale and pair up scale-wise with him. And this guy here is more of the 6-inch scale. He's some Call of Duty figure, I believe. Then we've got a Walking Dead figure and a Fortnite figure. Once again, these three, in my opinion, are kind of in the same scale, and this guy's a little bit of a shorter scale. And then here's Upside Down Will compared to some other zombie or sickly type of figures. We've got a couple of the taxi driver from Ghostbusters, Upside Down Will, a couple of dead zombie cops from Resident Evil work great as dead and tortured cops in my Batman world, and then a few dead zombie wrestling girls. And as Poison Ivy has her plant monsters take regular Will into her lair, she can turn him into infected Will, as she is next forcing him into one of her plant pod chambers. Prepare to start the alteration process. So it begins. And then he emerges under her control. All in all, he's an okay figure. If you collect the other Stranger Things figures, then you know what to expect and you know what you're going to get with this guy. I would personally probably not recommend this figure. I personally got him because I'm a completist with this line at this point, and I can find a couple of small uses for him. But if you're on the fence about getting him, probably don't. There's nothing special about him. The regular Will is a lot better in my opinion. So thank you guys for watching. If you liked this video, press like below. If you want to subscribe and get notified about additional videos, subscribe below. If you have any comments about the video, please put them below. If you have any other action figure review requests, put them below as well. Thanks for watching. D Hunter. Talk to you guys soon.